Hello for the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time. And this morning we're dealing with only the second reading, that is Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 15, 16 to 20. And the title of the homily is sort of Death, Taxes, and Resurrection. Interesting combination of those three. Well, let me ask you a question. Who said this? He said this. Our new Constitution is now established. Everything seems to promise it will be durable. But in this world, nothing is certain except death and taxes. Who said that? You might know. I don't know how good your history is, the knowledge of history in the early times of our country. But who said that was Benjamin Franklin. And Benjamin Franklin said this wrote this, I guess, to a scientist friend of his in France. And isn't that interesting? Death and taxes. Well, I know that it's February, middle February, in 2 months, we have to pay our taxes. I itemize it, it's better for me. And I dread getting ready for that. And then this afternoon, really, I'm going to have a funeral of a good friend of mine from way back, 83 years old. And then after that, preach this reading or this passage at the 5 o'clock Mass of Hox Christi. Resurrection. St. Paul writes to the Corinthians and said, do you believe, or a lot of people believe, that there is no such thing as resurrection? And you Christians, do you really believe that there is a resurrection? Because our whole faith is set upon it. That Jesus Christ came, suffered, died, and rose again. And he's the first one to rise again. And according to our religion, he's the first, and you may be not the last, but in due time, you too will, already born, will die, and will rise again. Do you believe that? Because if you don't, or if you do, just say you do and it ain't true, well, and you go about your whole life saying that there is resurrection of the body, resurrection of Jesus Christ, and it's going to happen to me. And you believe it, but it isn't. St. Paul says you are the most pitiable of all humankind. It's a big hoax. I don't think so. I don't think so. I believe that happened, what happened to Jesus, will happen to me in due time. Well, as I said, I had this big funeral this afternoon. Good friend of mine, 83 years old. You know what? I'm 82. In 2 months, I'll be 83. And so I think of things like that, but I mean, I'm not the only one that thinks about things like that. St. Paul said, this is the guts of our religion, that Jesus came, suffered, died, and rose again. That's what he's preaching to the Corinthians 2,000 years ago. How certain are you or uncertain are you or am I? I find it interesting. St. Thomas Aquinas talked about certitude and what we know. And are we certain of what we know? You know, and what my eyes, when I look out and see at today's like is going to be the big, oh, there's a beautiful blue sky. And I look up there with my blue eyes and I see that beautiful blue sky. And I'm certain that that's reality. But then, how certain are you of the future? And it's sort of interesting in our country right now. Some people are saying we have a constitution, we have over 200-year history, and right now it's all being called into question. Is it going to endure? And we might be in deep trouble that it might not. Back to Benjamin Franklin's taxes and death. Thomas Aquinas said, well, with your eyes and your senses, or with your reason, you can get, in a sense, feel and be certain. Well, we are with our senses. But with the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Thomas Aquinas says, you know, if you really believe this, and if you have faith, the certitude of faith is even more real or certain than the certitude that my eyes can see the blue heavens, the blue sky. Taxes, death, and resurrection. Are you certain that there's eternal life and your body will be resurrected? I think I am. It's the essence of our religion. Christmas isn't the most important feast or insight that we have, but Easter is what it's all about. Christ came, he died, and he rose again. And he's the first one to do all of that. And that will happen to us also. Am I certain that it'll happen? Yes, I have a certitude through faith, a certitude that it will happen. Ask yourself, how do you feel about that? Are you banking on that? Maybe we could look at it one final way. That certitude through faith is not a mathematical certitude. It's not a sensation certitude, but it is a insight certitude that we have through Jesus. And that's a privilege to be given the gift of faith that I believe that there is eternal life. And I and we will rise again with a new body, a resurrected body. I know neither eye has seen nor ear heard what is in store for us with this new body. Read that second reading today. It's powerful. Have a good day.